Hello warriors, it's Mulan. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you to the Warren Newport Public Library and all of the friends of the library for asking me to come share a story time with you today. Now, I have a couple stories to share with you today, and I'm very excited to share them with you. One you may know, and another one may be new to you. And I hope it is, because it's always fun to learn and hear about something new, isn't it? After all, if I hadn't have tried something new, I would be where I am today. Now, the first one you may know because it's my story. And the second one, maybe a story you've never heard before. Maybe you have, if you have the same book. So let's get right to it. This one's called I Am Mulan. And on the front, you can see me and my training clothes, and then Mushu and Cricky. I am Mulan. See, there's my father, and there's me. I live in a small village in China with my family. They are very important to me. We have a dog named Little Brother, a horse named Khan, and lots of chickens. And every morning I have to feed them. But what do? I kind of cheat a little bit, don't I? And I tie a bone to Little Brother's collar, and then I make him run around so that he opens the bag of feed and feeds all the chicken. It's a pretty genius idea if you ask me, and it gets the job done pretty quickly. And Khan, I cannot say enough about Khan. Khan went to battle with me and training, and we've been through a lot together. I really like helping others. If someone needs a hand, I'm always the first to run to the rescue. Even in games, and when little boys are stealing little girls' dolls, I always like to try and help out wherever I can. Wherever I go, a cricket named Cricky comes along with me. He was a special gift from my grandmother. Cricky is my lucky cricket. I don't think I would have gotten through the war without him. Grandmother believed that he had special powers, and sometimes I think he does, because whenever I don't have Cricky with me, things get a little crazy. Growing up, though I felt a lot of pressure to fit in, I knew in my heart that I had to follow my own path. See, there's me, all made up, and you can see that I'm not quite like the other girls, right? I never really wanted to be like all the other girls. I wanted to follow my own path that I made for me, right? Not that somebody else made for me. I wanted a life of action and adventure, and to protect the ones I love. So if you remember this is when China announced that they were going to a war. And they asked every male in the family to go fight in the war. But my father only had a daughter, so he had to go fight in the war. But he was injured in the war beforehand. And we knew that if he went to war, he wouldn't be able to fight like he did the first time. So I had to do something about it, didn't I? It was against the law for women to serve as soldiers. But I came up with a secret plan. So I came up with a secret plan while my father and my mother were sleeping, to ensure that my father didn't have to go fight in the war, that I would take his place. But I left my comb with them to let them know. It was a special secret message from me to them to let them know where I was going. I would dress up as a man and join the army in my father's place. There's my father's armor from the first war that he fought in, and I thought if I took that armor, that I could go fight in his place. I am very clever and resourceful. Now, men usually didn't have super long hair, so I had to cut my hair, and I used my father's sword to do it. And I tied it up just like all of the soldiers do when they go to training, right? That helped me carry out my plan. And remember Khan from earlier? Yes, I asked Khan to go with me to the war because I couldn't get to the training camp any other way. And I needed a horse, and Khan came with me. I believe that Khan also came with me to protect me. Speaking of help, I also have a little dragon friend named, you got it, Mushu. And Mushu serves the ancestors, right? Serves my ancestors. And the ancestors originally wanted a really big golden dragon spirit to protect me. But who did I get instead? This guy. Which wasn't bad in the long run, right? But at first, he wasn't very helpful. He was kind of more hurtful than he was helpful, right? He tries to lend a hand too, but he usually ends up causing trouble. What did I say? Training to become a soldier is really hard work, but I never give up. See, there's Mushu causing trouble. And then there's Shang. Shang was the one who was training all the soldiers, remember? And he's very strong. A very, very true warrior. And I hadn't trained ever to be a soldier in my life. So it was very, very difficult for me to train to become a soldier. I use my strength and discipline to inspire others. I am determined to be the best that I can be. I finally got the hang of training. And you can see my friends that I made at the training camp as well. I know I can do whatever I set my mind to. No one believed I could become a great warrior. I proved everyone wrong. So, even though I was doing well in training, I still wasn't doing good enough, and Shang tried to send me home. But I proved him wrong by completing one of the hardest tasks at the training camp. I am brave in the face of danger, just like my father. I jump in and take charge when no one else will. Do we remember this? The Huns and Shan Yu, when they came to attack and we went into battle with them. But I thought of a solution that would take all of them away, right? I caused an avalanche. I also know that being a good leader means working together as a team. But you know what happens when that avalanche comes? It also comes for us too. So, all of my friends that I made at the training camp helped save Shang. I've learned that people may unfairly judge you because of who or what you are, but I never let that stop me from doing what I know is right. I showed everyone that a woman can be a great soldier and the one who saves her country. I don't need to say anything more, I don't think. Remember when Shan Yu and I fought on the roof? I had a little help from Mushu there. It feels good to earn the respect of others, especially important people, like the emperor. And when I saved China, the emperor gave me his medal, right? But what feels best is bringing honor to my family. They are proud of me, and I am proud of myself. It was the most important thing to me that even through the war and everything, I bring honor home to my family. And I think I did that, right? My journey has taught me that being true to yourself is what makes you a real hero. So it might not necessarily be strength. It might not necessarily be superpowers. But what makes you a true hero is staying true to yourself and following the path that you want to take, right? Well, I'm sure you knew most of the things in that story. But I have another story for you. This one is pretty fun. It's in a big book of me and all my friends. And it's about boat racing. So, listen closely. It's called The Dragon Boat Race. The Duanwu Festival was quickly approaching. The celebration took place in China every spring on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. Mulan's favorite part was the dragon boat race. Each spring, Mulan watched the boats from other villages race down the river. This year, Mulan wanted to do more than just watch. Of course I did. I wanted to make a boat to race. I wanted to race on the boats. Our village should enter the race, Mulan told her family. Her father agreed this would bring honor to their village, but her mother was worried. The village had never taken part before. Would they know what to do? Grandma Fa reminded them that Mulan had once never traveled beyond their village. There's a first time for everything. Grandma always has wise words to say. And there's little brother playing with a butterfly. Mulan announced her idea to the village. The villagers were hesitant but excited to try something new. Mulan explained that they would learn, just as the teams from other villages had learned. There's a first time for everything, she said. See, I told you Grandma was wise, which is why I shared it with so many other people. I knew that the villagers and I could do it. Outside the Temple of the Ancestors, Mulan asked Mushu to help choose what colors to paint the bow. It should look like me, of course, Mushu said. So what colors do you think we made the boat? Mushu has red and gold, right? Which I like those colors. Together, Mulan and her teammates painted the boat to match Mushu's fiery red scales and orange belly. Mushu admired their handiwork. It does sort of look like me, Mushu said, if not quite as handsome. Mushu can be pretty full of himself sometimes, but I think it's all in good fun. And isn't that beautiful? Mushu's idea was a pretty good idea, I'd say. Practice began the next day. Mushu volunteered to be the drummer. I've had a lot of practice from banging on a gong all these years. Mulan showed Mushu how to keep a steady rhythm for the team to follow. She clapped her hands. 1, 2, 3. Mushu thumped the drum. The villagers arced their paddles through the air to the beat. Soon, they were paddling in unison. So, by using the teamwork and following Mushu's beat, they were able to paddle the boat. Mulan joined the team. As the sweep, it was her job to steer with a long oar. They pushed out into the water. At first, the boat zigged and zagged, but then the villagers heard Mushu's steady wham, wham, wham. They followed the beat and glided through the water. So it took some getting used to, didn't it? It's kind of hard to steer a boat. Finally, it was the day of the race. Mulan and her team lined up their boat with the others, excited and eager for the race. Remember that we were entering the boat race for our very first time, and everyone else, they had done it before. When the race began, the dragon boats zoomed off. Each drummer pounded out a different rhythm. As the other boats whizzed past, Mulan's team struggled to hear Mushu's steady beat. When there are so many boats on the water, and every boat has a drummer, it's kind of hard to hear which drum beat is coming from your boat, right? And on this kind of boat, we had to have so much teamwork, right? See how everyone else on the other boats, they're so in sync and we're kind of not? I think we might have needed a little more practice. Mulan tried to steer as the waves from the other team slapped against the side of their boat. She clutched her oar fearfully as the boat tipped this way and that. The drum bounced out of Mushu's hands and into the water. He reached out to grab it and fell in. Splash! See, Mushu's always causing trouble, but this time I think it was a true accident. Mulan helped her teammates fish Mushu out of the river. He raced back to his spot, but the team didn't notice their boat heading for the reeds. They crashed. The villagers slumped in their seats. How could they finish the race now? We can't give up, Mulan told her team. She knew quitting would not bring honor to their village. They'd lost their drum, but they still had their paddles, their boat, and their team. See, we may have lost the drum, but we still had everything we needed to finish the race. It's true, we've never paddled without a drum, Mulan said. But There's a first time for everything. And there's one thing we can do that isn't a first, and that's work together. Mulan reminded the villagers that together they built and painted a dragon boat. Together, they trained for the race. Together, we can get to the finish line, she cheered. So all it took was a little pep talk, wasn't it? And we got ready to finish the race. And I can still give you a steady beat, Mushu said. He clapped his hands. The villagers smiled and lined up their paddles, ready to row. Together, Mulan and her teammates steered the boat back onto the river. The villagers pushed their paddles through the water to Mushu's beat again and again until they reached the finish line. So see Mushu clapping? He didn't need a drum after all. The crowd on shore greeted Mulan's team with cheers. Although they were the last dragon boat to arrive, they were the first to complete the race without a drum. See, we knew that we wouldn't win because we spent so much time fishing Mushu out of the water and getting out of the reeds without the drum, but we knew it wouldn't bring honor to our village if we just quit, right? So we knew we had to finish the race, and everyone was still cheering for us. That night, Mulan, her teammates, and the rest of the village found another thing they could do together. Celebrate! Because even though we didn't win, we still tried something new. And that's the end of that story. Now, I love that story so much because it tells you the importance of trying new things, which is kind of my thing. I love trying new things. And I hope you love trying new things as well. What is one thing that you like to do? Or that you had never done before and you were kind of scared to do, but once you tried it, you had so much fun. It could be something like going down the slide for the first time, or maybe riding a bike for the first time. Just like Grandma says, there's a first time for everything. And she's right, there is a first time, but after that first time, then there might be a second time, a third time. And things might not be as scary and you might get used to it. So it's always good to try new things. It certainly brings honor to your family and everyone around you. Whenever you try new things, you might not succeed at first, but you have to persevere. And that is a true warrior. So now that I've shared 2 stories with you, I would love it if you sang along with me. So if you remember, I sang a song. I was feeling kind of down about not being able to bring honor to my family and the way that they wanted me to bring honor to them. But I knew that's not who I was inside. I knew that I had my own path. And by following that, I could bring honor to my family, and ultimately I did. And so I hope that you bring honor to your families as well by following your own path. Okay? Look at me, I may never pass for a perfect bride or a perfect daughter. Can it be? I'm not meant to play this part. Now I see that if I were truly to be myself, I would break my family's heart. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Somehow I cannot hide who I I just love that song, don't you? Now I have finally found myself and my journey, and my reflection now shows who I am inside, and I hope your reflection does that as well. Now I hope you continue to try new things, and I hope that you bring honor to those around you by staying loyal, brave, and true. Okay? So once again, I want to thank the Warren Newport Public Library District and all of the friends of the library for allowing me to share a couple stories with you today with very good messages and singing along with you. I had so much fun, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.